Hello, welcome to the weather update. It is about 9:30 on the 5th of July, and it was a pretty hot, humid day today across the area. And just noticing a little bit of haze in the air, just a little bit, especially as we got toward the evening. I don't know, you really notice it on the satellite. We do have some poor air quality, mainly due to ozone, and that's why you have an air quality alert. In fact, you see not a whole lot of activity. There were a couple of storms that popped up over Jersey, but for the most part, and a couple well upstate. But for the most part, fair weather today, just hot and humid. Typical July weather, pretty much. So you got that air quality alert in effect, and that's now going through tomorrow now, and that is mainly due to ozone. So it's going to be ozone. They're not saying it's wildfire smoke. It's more of an ozone issue that we're going to have. And NJDEP also has it through Thursday as well for ozone. So let's go and look at what we got going on currently outside with the temperatures. And we'll go to the map here, look, and you'll see there's that air quality alert in effect for our area. And we'll look at what we got going on outside right now. It's a pretty warm, muggy evening, especially here in the middle of the island. But if you're on the South Shore, you've got temperatures in the mid-70s. Same thing for Islip, 75 with a dew point of 72. However, where I live, in my urban hellhole, it's still 81 degrees outside my window right now. So it's just like being in the middle of the city, like LaGuardia, where it's 84 degrees. It's even cooler in Jersey than it is here. 76 in near Toms River. So yeah, even cooler there than here. It's but it's actually even showing up on here that it's pretty warm. Somebody has 79. Farmingdale's still at 79. So there you go. So the middle of the island, just holding on to the heat. 79 also being reported in at Hofstra. So it's not so much my alley. It'll add 2 more degrees to it, but middle of the island, you got to be on the South Shore, and that's where things are much, much better. For only a certain group of people get to enjoy that breeze, though. So let's go take a look at our highs and lows, and you can see the dew points generally up there. So let's go. Again, very humid day today, so let's go to the highs first. And get the highs. I got to pull this out, actually, a little bit here. So you can see highs got close to 90, 88 at Islip. Didn't quite hit 90, but 90 at Farmingdale. Did get up to 90 at Farmingdale, 92 at LaGuardia. So generally temperatures in the low 90s. Western Nassau County, if we're on the South Shore, you had upper 80s. Jersey, also around 90 degrees as well. And further north in Jersey, even hotter. Got some mid-90s up in Bergen County. That's a brutal place, too. So, yeah, it's pretty hot. Let's go to the lows. And our lows generally were 64. Got down to 64 at West Hampton. Otherwise, upper 60s, and low 70s if you were in the city. So, yeah, very warm day. We'll go to the climatology for the day here. And you'll see it was definitely a hot day today. So, Islip. Waiting for Islip to load here. And 88 degrees was the high at Islip. Normal high 82. So that's 6 degrees above normal. The low is 68. 2 degrees above normal. That puts us 4 degrees above normal for the day. It seems like July might wind up being back in the usual trend of being above normal with temperatures. Central Park got up to 93. Wow, brutal day in the city. That's sort of like what we had to deal with here. 93, that's 9 degrees above normal. The low is 72. 2 degrees above normal, giving us 6-degree departure from normal. Just for fun, look at LaGuardia, also 93 as well. And Newark, where it was 94 degrees in Newark. Man, that's brutal. So we have a brutal day today across the area, though. Again, if you're on the South Shore, it was a sea breeze. Bridgeport was only 86, though. Sometimes you get a sea breeze in Connecticut, sometimes. So going back to the map here, we'll see if there was any rainfall or precipitation. See if anyone got any precipitation from those very widely scattered storms. I think there was one in Jersey. Look at the 24-hour, I think. I don't think there was that much really here. So, actually there was. Yeah, it looks like this area here, 0.62 at Coyle Field. So it looks like there was a storm that did hit part of New Jersey over here around Coyle Field. And if we go to the radar rewind, we can look at that. We'll do the radar rewind. I think it happened sometime in the afternoon. There was a storm that popped over there. Yeah, right here, this cell right here at pop. But other than that, not much going on. It was just one of those heat of the day type of things, which is we're going to see that continue as we head into tomorrow and the other days of this week, as with this hot, humid weather continues. You go across the country here. You'll see we also have heat advisories also for parts of upstate. It's been very hot upstate. They've had a lot, actually. I should really show you how far north this heat is extending. Because you'll see temperatures gotten near 90 all the way up to Albany, all the way up into Canada even. Look at how hot it got. Look at, we're going well north now into Canada. We've got 90s in these areas like Chiapas in Canada. This is not good for the wildfires at all. You can see how far this heat extends. Look at this. 90 up in all the way up here. So that's very, very unusual to see that kind of heat. Look at that. 90 in Kuj. That's like northwest. That is so far north. 90 in Quebec. So a lot of areas in Quebec had their hottest day on record so far. It's a big story. You can see how far this heat is. Again, when you don't have a jet stream, this is what happens. The jet stream's all very wavy and messed up because of climate change. You can see the heat in the eastern part of the country. You got the trough in the middle now, so that's where the cooler temperatures are. And the heat is also in the west. They're getting a lot of heat out there too as well. In fact, we have excessive heat warnings in effect for parts of Arizona. Let's see. If Flagstaff only got up to 84. Lucky them. But you see hundreds in much of Arizona, and that extends all the way up into California as well. And you can see where it's been pretty hot. At least it's dry heat, but it's 109 over there at Gila Bend. You can see the heat here extending up into the west as well. Along the coast, it's cooler. You have a little bit of a marine layer there if you're right along the coast, but if you're inland, you bake. And 97, mid-90s in the center, in the interior there of Oregon and Washington. And you can see that heat advisory and red flag warning. There have been some wildfires there too as well. So, yeah, it's not a good situation, as you can see, going on across the country. And we do have a severe thunderstorm watch also in effect for parts of New Mexico and Colorado. So, looking at our weather map, here you'll see we have high pressure ridge under control, a weak front, a very weak low, but it's very weak. It's not really going to produce much of anything. High pressure pretty much remains in control. Just the scattered heat of the day storms. There's just front over here that's going to try to get through, but you'll see it's going to wind up stalling. And then you've got some other like heat troughs in the west there. But other than that, let's go to the Storm Prediction Center next and look at our severe weather threat. It's mainly in that, again, that Colorado, southeast Colorado, northeast New Mexico, Oklahoma Panhandle area. Going into tomorrow, things get a little more enhanced in that area. You see that same area, again, being targeted, but now it extends further north now into parts of Wyoming. So, yeah, that's generally the same area that's going to experience the severe weather threat. And you can see, again, there's the storms popping up on our satellite. I do want to take a look at northern Canada and just take a look at where that heat is, because I have a feeling all that heat, going to be a whole bunch more fires that just popped up over there. You can see the smoke, by the way. There it is over there. It's going all the way up toward Greenland, the smoke. Yeah, the smoke is going into the Arctic. Yeah, you can clearly see where the jet stream is going here. You can sort of trace it out right here. Look on the map here, you'll see, and I'll draw it for you. Your jet stream is like going like this. That's how far. That's not supposed to do that. All right, so it's bringing all this heat and smoke into Greenland. That is not good at all. That is not good at all. In fact, I want to jump over to the weather and hazards map, and let's see, because this will display Greenland. And look at how warm it got in part of Greenland. 66 for a high over there. And I wonder if they were reporting any smoke, because the visibility is down in some of these places here. So who knows? The smoke may be getting up this far. So this is very warm, and that's going to cause a lot of ice melt. That's something we all need to be very alarmed about, especially people on the South Shore who think that nothing is going to affect them. That's all fresh water. Once that melts, that's going to raise the sea levels. So, yeah, very warm, very warm. Climate is, I'm going to be making another video about the climate crisis tonight, but we'll stick with this, with the theme of weather right now in this update, though. It's kind of hard to ignore what's happening. So, now let's go to the radar. So let's just look at the current radar here. You see, there's not a whole lot going on in our area. We do have some storms around Chicago and Michigan, and then you have this area here again, that area in Denver into New Mexico, and just scattered storms in the south. So let's go to the models. All right. And so we will go and look at our pattern. So again, we have this crazy ridge that's. We'll put the jet stream up here. All right. So let's put the jet stream up here, and you can let you see what I draw out here. Look at that ridge. It's going all the way into Greenland. Look at that jet stream going all the way into Greenland. That is very, very, very abnormal. That's going to bring a lot of heat to Greenland and cause a lot of ice melt in Greenland. There's going to be a tremendous amount of ice melt this year in Greenland. It's bringing a lot of heat into the Arctic too, so it's going to melt a lot of ice. And you can see here that ridge continues as we go into this week. You can see that just big ridge just advecting all the heat and smoke way into the Arctic. All right, the jet stream is completely dysfunctional at this point. And you can see there's some troughing that tries to move into the east next week. And start to see a little bit of troughing here, but the jet stream in general is just it's just a huge mess. A huge mess right now. All right. And we'll go and look at the European model as well, see if there's any differences right now in the European model with this huge ridge here that's going on into Greenland. And it gets even worse as we get into Friday, so it's going to get even hotter in the extreme northern Canada and Greenland. You're going to have a lot of permafrost thaw and stuff. Look at that huge ridge over Greenland. My God, it continues. So, yeah, this model kind of continues it right into the middle of the month there. So this is not a good situation at all. If I put this in here, you'll see this huge ridge here we're talking about here in eastern Canada into Greenland is going to cause a tremendous amount of ice melt. And that is not going to be good at all. And I'm going to try to address the state of the ice probably not tonight, but probably in another video coming this week about that. But you can see here for us, you can see generally troughs kind of staying in the middle. This is the problem. Yes, the humidity is this is not abnormal to have heat, but what is abnormal is that the weather just gets stuck. It just doesn't change, and you see that because of the way the jet stream is. And this continues. The European continues that in the middle of the month. GFS has got a little bit of a different look to it. The European wants to keep it around, whereas the GFS wants to break this down a little quicker and move that trough more easterly a little bit. But generally speaking, a look like this is going to mean that we're going to see well above normal temperatures. So let's go to the temperature anomaly chart here. And I'm going to keep this on the North American view as well. Maybe I will pull up the ice thing if I can remember at the end of the video. But you see here, below normal in the Midwest, you see the heat staying in the east. Then we go back to sort of near normal and cool off a little bit next week. We're still dealing with some heat, though, and there's no real end of the humidity. Here we are the middle of the month, showing some cool temperatures. Maybe they'll bring some end into the humidity. But this is the GFS. If we go look at the European model now, I'm showing the European because it's got a different opinion. It keeps the heat blazing in the east, pretty much, and especially in Canada. No really big change in this pattern. Cool air kind of stays in the Midwest, and you got the ridges on the end. You can sort of trace out the crazy jet stream pattern that's here. So let's go to the surface now, and we'll go look at the surface on the GFS. And then we'll look at the surface on the European, too, as well. So continuing, you're pretty much in the same air mass. Not much changes as we head into the weekend here. Not much changes. Chance of thunderstorms inland. Our next chance for some more widespread wet weather won't be until Monday. On Tuesday, maybe with a couple of, looks like it's bringing a couple of storms through, low pressure areas. But you see no really big cold fronts come through, no really big strong highs come through. There's no real change to this at all. The good news about it is because our flow isn't coming from the north, we're not dealing with as much smoke. However, we're still dealing with some. And noticing the sunset tonight, this was the sunset tonight, and you'll see, still notice looked like a little bit of smoke there on that sunset. Another picture I took. Still see, again, it looks like a layer of smoke, and you can see it got kind of red there. Not like as it's been, but I think there's a little smoke around. But anyway speaking, you see there's no big changes going on. So let's go look at the European on the surface as well. Because everything's just stuck, This is what happens when you don't have a jet stream. Things just don't move along. Things just get stuck, and you can see the European there. There is that low. It has in a different spot. European's got a little bit of a different look, but you can see generally speaking, not much of a change. The European's just stronger with the ridge and keeps the heat around, keeps it warmer. So back to the, let's go to the northeast view. We'll go to the HRRR. We should have most of that HRRR in by now, the 0Z run of the HRRR. And we'll go ahead and look at locally what's going to be happening. So as you see here, all pop-up showers and storms here tomorrow. All right, so all pop-up showers and storms, and mainly inland. So I think that Long Island we won't see anything. Friday, more of the same, as you see. So let's go look at our dew points, and you'll see they're not going to be going anywhere. The humidity is going to be sticking around. What we will have that's going to be different from today, tomorrow, hopefully more of a southerly flow, which will at least keep the temperatures a little lower. But it's still going to be humid. Generally, dew points around 70, either side of 70. Southerly flow. And you can see it looks like a push of dry air is trying to come in for the weekend, but you'll see it kind of loses its punch. And then for Friday, it's more of an easterly flow with like an area of, it's trying to bring like an area of low over here. So an easterly flow would definitely be cooler for us. So hopefully we can get into that easterly flow. At least bring the lower temperatures, although the humidity isn't going to go anywhere. Because today was pretty damn hot, especially here in the hot box, my God. But anyway, tomorrow you could see, because of that sea breeze, I don't think we're going to see 90 on Long Island, maybe upper 80s. Though it could still hit 90 here on Long Island. The 90s are going to be mainly New Jersey and parts of New York City. And you can see that sea breeze being much stronger tomorrow. And then as we go into your Friday, cooler with that easterly wind, much cooler. Temperatures will only be in the low 80s. So we'll have a break at least from the heat, if not from the humidity. Going to the GFS, we'll go ahead and look at the GFS now on our dew points and wind flow, and you'll see what I mean by no relief from the humidity. So here we go. Here's Friday, showing more of a southerly flow for Friday, which could make it warmer. But you see the dry air trying to get in, but it's just not going to be able to. Kind of get stuck. There's dry air over there, and we're just not going to get into it. You can see we're staying in the humidity here pretty much. And then look at this. Here we go in mid-month. It's trying so bad. It's basically trying to, and then maybe you'll finally bring it through. But again, the fronts just aren't moving through because again we just don't have anything to, no jet stream to move anything along. That jet stream is in that ridge position. And so here's the GFS, and you'll see here GFS a little hotter look for Friday because that southerly flow cools it off on Saturday, mainly because of rain chances. Sunday, and then we're going into the next week. It is bringing a couple of cool days. They could just have rain chances. Then more heat Wednesday, Thursday, and then it kind of dies off again. You can see. But speaking of which, there's just going to be a number of days. So much for our cool pattern because now we're dealing with some heat. And look at that to the end. That's the last frame of the run, though. Let's go look at the Europeans' temperatures as well, because again, normally I just use one model for the long range. I like using the GFS, but sometimes I want to use the European just because it has a little bit of it. The European is a little cooler, but I just want to see that heat next week. Yeah, it looks like we will be facing another heat wave next week. So unfortunately, the heat is going to continue this month. But at least we shouldn't be dealing with too much smoke. Speaking of smoke, let's go to the MODIS satellite right now, and you can see this is where the smoke is. There's lots of smoke going up into northern Quebec, and that's all going into Greenland, folks. Yep, that's all going to go right into the Arctic. Yep, that's not a good situation at all. And I'll go to the ice thing now because I usually do. And I brought it up, so let me do it in this one. See, nice. Greenland melt off to a spring into summer. Seasonal decline was moderate. Picked up pace over the last couple of days in the month. Antarctic sea ice extent remains low. So this is what our Arctic sea ice chart looks like right now. We're scraping at the bottom again, but this could really go off a cliff once that smoke gets in over here and starts really darkening the ice. You can see there's a lot of thin sea ice here. We're going to see the sea ice get really low this summer. I have a feeling. It might even set a new record. Well, anyway, getting back to the weather, let's go to the cloud cover, all right? And we'll first start with the GFS, all right? And you can see there'll be plenty of sun tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more cloud cover on Friday, but still showing plenty of sun. But the weekend, you see there, more cloud cover, and that's because we're going to have some more rain chances. Again, if we look at it's showing some rain chances there for us. But again, most of that heavier stuff is going to hold off. So if we look at the amount of rain that's going to fall between now and Monday morning, on the GFS, you see, most of that is inland. That's where the storms are. It's going to be heat of the day type of situation. So Long Island probably won't see all that much from it. Let's now go to the RGM, and we'll look at the skies on the RGM. The RGM seems to go out further now, I noticed. So looking at tomorrow, again, not much in the way of clouds. Maybe a few high clouds here and there, maybe some fog offshore. But other than that, not much in the way of clouds. Though it is developing, again, that looks like a fog bank that's coming in the evening. For Friday, you might have a little more hard time fighting off that fog with an east wind. We'll have to see what happens. And then here's your Saturday, and it's showing maybe a little more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity, it looks like, on here. And definitely more clouds for sure. But if we look at the rain, yeah, it's showing a couple of showers and thunderstorms that could pop up for Saturday. Of course, that is far away, and it's too early to tell what's going to happen with that. I want to go to earthandoldskool.net and just look at a couple of things regarding air quality. So we would start off with our chemicals. First, this doesn't show ozone, but it does show that's carbon dioxide there. This is nitrous oxide. You can see it's kind of elevated. Nitrogen, I think it's not nitrogen dioxide, my mistake. This is sulfur dioxide. And this is carbon monoxide, again, elevated in our area and elevated up in Canada where these fires are going. Ocean, look at the sea surface temperature anomalies. And, yep, we're above normal on the sea surface temperatures. Once again, way above normal. They've soared up way above. So if we go look at this, you'll see that is a 5-degree anomaly there for your sea surface temperatures offshore. And we have a 6-degree anomaly over here. So, yep. The sea surface temperatures are already warming up, which is not good for the hurricane season. That gives us an actual sea surface temperature of 76 offshore, and the water temperatures already looks like they're in the low 70s. So that is above normal, and that's going to continue with all this warm, humid air. It's just going to pump that heat right into the oceans. And I know people say it in El Nino, usually the water temperatures are cooler, but you have an El Nino with climate change. That's the thing. So let me go back over to here. I want to look at some of the, actually, I could probably, we'll do the marine here. We can get the marine information here, and I just got to remember where it is. So that's why I try to load everything up before we get started here. So we can get some buoy summaries here on the water temperatures here, because they are above normal again. Here we go again, sea surface temperatures already in the 70s. My gosh. Look at that, 76, 20 miles south of Fire Island Inlet. That's an insane SST for early July. It could get up to 80. This is not good at all. Not good at all. It's no good news. I have no good news to tell you. I really don't, unfortunately. I don't. The only good news I can tell you is that we won't be dealing with the smoke. So let's go look at least not the thick smoke that we were dealing with, but there could still be some around. I'll just run this REP model here. And you can see most of that is way. You can see, I just want to show you where the smoke is going. You can see it's going to go over Greenland. You can see that. The smoke is heading for Greenland. And that looks like some pretty dense smoke, too. And then you see a lot of smoke coming out of over here, too. And it looks like, actually, maybe some fires in Siberia, too, as well. Yay! Unbelievable. I'll go to the near-surface smoke loop, and I think that might actually make it to Greenland. Let's look at the near-surface smoke. See if it makes it to Greenland. It may not. Doesn't seem like it's going to make it there, but it's definitely going to get some haze over there. And I wouldn't be so sure that it doesn't make it to Greenland either. So we have fires in Siberia, too? Oh, man. Unbelievable. So I guess we'll have to look at that, too. All right. Unbelievable. So let's go to the, back to the MODIS. Back to the MODIS we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see smoke over there. So, yeah, we got more fires. We have a planet in crisis, But, again, nobody really wants to admit that. Last stop on this weather update is going to be the Climate Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day outlook. You can see they have us near normal. Precipitation slightly above normal. 8 to 14 day, near normal. So whatever the case is, they don't. If we get that heat wave next week, I think we're going to be above normal. But they're being a little more conservative on things. So I think that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night, and thank you for watching. And just be glad. If you're on the South Shore, you're getting a breeze. It's not so bad. But for us here, away from the water, it's brutal, especially here in the hot box that I live in. But again, I guess I guess I'm not allowed to have a cool breeze. I guess that's too much to ask for. But anyway, I just have to have the air conditioner on. That's all. But the air conditioner was struggling today. It was struggling today. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good night.